resolution. China welcomes the start of direct talks between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine should serve as a bridge of communication between East and West, rather than a front line of major power rivalry. We call for efforts to create an atmosphere and conditions conducive to direct talks between the parties concerned, as this is the fundamental way to resolve the issue. All action taken by the UN and the relevant parties of the international community should prioritize regional peace and stability and universal security for all, and should help de-escalate tensions and facilitate a diplomatic settlement. China does not approve of any approach that may exacerbate tensions. China supports relevant UN agencies' continued work on humanitarian aid in Ukraine. We believe that the safety of civilian life and property and their humanitarian needs should be effectively guaranteed. Mr. President, as a prominent member of the UN Security Council, China always conscientiously fulfills its responsibility of maintaining international peace and security. It is our consistent and unequivocal position that all countries' sovereignty and territorial integrity should be respected, and the purposes and principles of the UN Charter be upheld. China will continue to play a constructive role in the pursuit of peace. Mr. President, the Cold War has long ended. The Cold War mentality based on bloc confrontation should be abandoned. Nothing can be gained from stirring up a new Cold War, but everyone will stand to lose. One country's security should not come at the expense of other countries' security. Still less can regional security be guaranteed by reinforcing or even expanding military blocs. China supports the EU, NATO, and Russia resuming dialogue. Bearing in mind the notion of indivisible security, properly addressing the legitimate security concerns of all parties, including Russia, striving to forge a balanced, effective, and sustainable European security mechanism so as to achieve lasting peace and stability for the European continent. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of China. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Bulgaria.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, Bulgaria aligns itself with the statement delivered on behalf of the European Union, and I would like to highlight a few points in my national capacity. Mr. President, we have gathered here today under extraordinary circumstances that defy reason, but unfortunately are reality. And that reality is that the Russian Federation, a permanent member of the Security Council, is executing an act of aggression against Ukraine, a founding member of the UN. Bulgaria condemns in the strongest possible terms this unprovoked and unjustified military aggression, which is in gross violation of international law and of the principles of the UN Charter. The illegal military aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine not only undermines global security and stability, but also puts the international rules-based order in jeopardy. It is deplorable that the Russian Federation used its veto power to prevent the Security Council from exercising its primary responsibility for maintenance of international peace and security. However, the decision of the Security Council to urgently refer the matter to the General Assembly by calling an emergency special session demonstrates the resolve of the rest of the Council to do everything possible to address this serious act of aggression. The fact that for the first time in 40 years, the Security Council takes such a decision speaks of the gravity of the situation. We commend the decision by the Security Council, and now it is up to all of us to live up to the responsibility to uphold the principles of the UN Charter and international law, and to send a strong and unequivocal message by condemning the act of aggression and the illegal actions by the Kremlin. Bulgaria demands that the Russian Federation immediately cease its military actions, unconditionally withdraw all forces and military equipment from the entire territory of Ukraine, and fully respect Ukraine's territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence within its internationally recognized borders. The use of force and coercion to change borders has no place in the 21st century. Tensions and conflicts should be resolved exclusively through dialogue and diplomacy. We strongly condemn the involvement of Belarus in this aggression, including providing its territory to be used as a launching ground for the Russian aggression, and call on it to refrain from such action and to abide by its international obligations. The reports of civilian casualties, including of children, and the destructions of civilian infrastructure, including critical infrastructure, are deeply concerning. We are particularly outraged by the use of weapons that have indiscriminate effect in residential areas and against the civilian population. This is unacceptable and must stop immediately. We call on the Russian Federation to fully respect international humanitarian law and international human rights law, and to allow safe and unhindered humanitarian access and assistance to all persons in need. The Russian Federation bears full responsibility for this aggression and all the destruction and loss of life, and the leadership of the Russian Federation should and will be held accountable in accordance with international law. Mr. President, colleagues, it is our duty to do the right thing. We need to stand together against any act of aggression and against any violation of the UN Charter. We need to fiercely defend the principles of the UN Charter, international law, and the rules-based order, because they are our only guarantee for peace. We cannot turn a blind eye when a blatant act of aggression is being executed against a sovereign, peace-loving nation. Today, it is against Ukraine. Tomorrow, it could be against any one of us. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate Bulgaria's unwavering support for the sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. I would also like to thank the Ukrainian people for their extraordinary courage and resilience. You're not alone. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of Bulgaria.